Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Pen with AI. This is Man speaking. So today we are trying to explore a little bit about the painting with the architecture involved. So for if you have using the AI tool before, to my experience, the building usually AI will not handle that very, how to say, not it's more easy to feel it's not good enough. I guess it's just because there's more details in the building, and then you will more easily to spot about the detail that doesn't make sense. So I'm showcase about how we will using the AI tool to doing the painting with the architecture. So right now I'm just doing a very quick layout. So the idea is like a character walking in the street while the both sides are the Chinese architecture. So here I just, as usual, I didn't pay too much attention about the detail of the building, but just want to give it a basic some kind of the framework there. And then also, hope you don't mind. I don't really pay too much attention to the perspective here. What I mean is like my perspective in here is definitely not very accurate one. I just like eyeballing it without even draw any guideline to help me to correct it. But I believe this still will be able to showcase about how I deal with them. So after we have the basic uh, composition there, I started using the ChatGPT, try to experimental about how ChatGPT will handle about it, but meanwhile also using the ComfyUI to do the rendering. So ComfyUI is the one I use the most, and also the most I'm familiar with. This time I try to use ChatGPT just because it's really still very new, so I kind of want to test like how it works and compare to the render result in the ComfyUI. And as you can see here, usually using the ComfyUI or stable diffusion, I will try to render multiple one. And then here we back to the ChatGPT one, and you can see that's the issue for the ChatGPT rendering. They will always change your perspective a lot, a bit, but I mean it's not too different, but it's different enough when you try to put it onto your work. You can tell it's not really work well with that. So I very fast give up the idea, and then later on come back to using the stable diffusion to help me to render multiple different denoises value of the image. And then here we'll come to the same one, like a similar like a your way where you are doing the photo bashing, just grabbing each each pieces of the painting, whichever a part you think that makes sense the most, and then we will just use it for that part. So here you can see I pick one of the floor, or pick one on the building in the front, and then pick another one for the building in the back. And here I also, even though the building is not really useful in the ChatGPT version, but I still found the character he penned actually is quite nice. So I decided to use this as the basic, and then to put it in the center. So after we have the basic color and the composition there, I start try to add in something more fun, you can say. I try to add in a big kind of monster just behind the scene. And originally I was thinking about a creepy witch, kind of like a similar character we penned in the last episode. Um, but you will see later on, I feel the human, when that monster looks too human, it somehow break the illusion, also the perspective. So I'll do another further modification after I done with the human version one. Yeah. and then you can see here I'm just try to focusing on the value. All the thing, everything including the building is still not really come to the detail yet. As we always say, in the early phase, always just focusing on the the big stuff, the mood, the vibe, the color. And here I'm trying to using the ComfyUI to help me to render the character. But this is the one new thing I learned, because this character, the monster, is actually very, very like subtle. So feel like no matter how I try, you always render in a quite kind of um, not really help me to push further. And you can see a lot of example here. I feel the UI just the Comfy UI just doesn't really know what the image I'm sending it to, so he doesn't really know how to render it. So I also try to put it for the ChatGPT to see how ChatGPT will render it. Meanwhile, I'm just come back and start to add in the detail. I also try to fix the composition a little bit more, because you can see right now a lot of building architecture actually it doesn't really make sense. So for this part, we just need to make everything looks more reasonable. And I'm not really happy with the ChatGPT one when he the character he rendered for me, this monster face. But I still kind of want to give it a try, so I try to apply it to the character. But pretty soon, you will see later on. Just the more I pending here, I just really don't satisfy about the how it looks. So very very soon I'm going to remove it and then to paint my own version of it. And then meanwhile, I also kind of back and forth, also back to the scene again. And here, even though the ChatGPT render is not really the perspective is not correct, but in terms of the detail, I have to say ChatGPT actually do better. The architecture actually is really reasonable. So I start to grab in some of those texture and then apply it to the building I have in here. Yeah, but because again, this is a decision I make in here. Even though ChatGPT give more clear and more complete kind of building, but the style and then the perspective is still not really the one that I like. So I would rather just like using part of the texture of it and still kind of working to to painting over the current one I have in here. Because again, we should be always focusing on what kind of mood or what was the message or information or the feeling you want to deliver to the viewer. And then whatever the ChatGPT 4 can create right now is really taking all those kind of feeling away. So that's why I don't really I decide to not use it. And I'm back to here. I'm just continuing to kind of fixing the perspective. I just like try to finally I try to using some guideline, try to see how wrong the perspective is, and then realize, oh yeah, it's just really really bad. So I just decide to um, don't use the guideline. But if today you are working on more like a client project or the really like a commercial work, or I have more time, I definitely will like to set out a better perspective um, in the early beginning, even in the I would say in the line drawing phase. Yeah, here is a little bit too late, so I decide to just bite the bullet and then to just continue to working on um, fixing the detail or some made like a really the perspective that is really really wrong. So now this is just a kind of like a back and forth, fixing the building a little bit and then go back to the other character a little bit. And in here, I still stick with kind of like the original concept I have about it's just like a witch kind of character. But yeah, I still not really happy about it. So later on, I just decide to really change it to another more less like a human kind of creature. This is also another trick about the perspective, another perspective, but trick about the sense about of the object of the size. So if today I present a more like a character kind of a human kind of character that you can associate with in your real life, then you will more easily to come out the idea how big that thing is. And because this one, I really wanted to make more like a, a mythical creature, or you can say a ghost or a monster. So I feel this also feel better, just like make it less like a human. So when you first time viewing it, you will have less idea about how big this thing is, compared to if it's more like a human, then you will trying to using your common sense to try to measure or to think about why that human is so big. And I don't really want the user to spending too much of a time thinking about the about the distance. So I feel I still happy about making the decision to make this character less like a human. And now I'm back to the Comfy UI again. After I have all the perspective on the building fixed and then also the character more render. This is another trick I like to use a lot. It's like every time the image that created by the AI because it's a very raw sketch. So a lot of things also usually will not really making sense. But a lot of time after you put more render and the detail correct information to the painting you have, and then you put it back to the stable diffusion and then to let it do the render again. A lot of the time, actually, the result will be more better. I I think just like also the when AI read your more defined image, he will have more sense about what you are trying to do. So whenever you finish your painting to a certain degree and then you still think there's some other detail can be improved, don't forget to give it a try and just put it back to the stable diffusion, and then usually will give you more. Sometimes it will give you more interesting result. And then after all the thing done, the last one is like adding the silhouette of the creepy people in the back. This is another thing that AI come to very handy. So basically, you just need to create a multiple silhouette of the like a human, and then you just put it into the ComfyUI, and then they will just like help you to change each character a bit. So that's also another one that I think could be really time saving when you try to create a large group of people or crowd in the background. Okay, I think that's it. Hopefully, you find something enjoyable or something new about the AI tool in this episode, and I'll see you in the next one.